Build next-gen composable commerce with Shopify and Vue Storefront 2. This is a talk by Jay and Viral from Aureate Labs. These guys created a Vue Storefront connector to Shopify, and they will be showing how that works, and they will be highlighting the limitations of traditional Shopify and then why they created this connector. And also, they're gonna try live to actually connect everything. Have fun, guys, and good luck. Over to Jay and Viral.
Hello everyone, thanks for joining us today. It's my pleasure to introduce myself. My name is Jayesh Patel. I am a web developer by heart and working as a technology manager at Aureate Labs Private Limited. My primary role is to help team for the different technology stack, diversification for new technologies and platform. And yes, I'm always eager to learn a new things all the time. I would also like to introduce my colleague Viral Rana. He is a senior software developer and integrator and maintainer of Shopify Vue Storefront 2 connector at a moment. We are very excited to be with you all today. Today we talk about building a next generation composable commerce with the Shopify store and Vue Storefront 2 connector. So without any further delay, let's jump into the further discussion. If you have any questions, query in between the discussion, you can use the Hopin chat to drop your questionnaires over there. We will try to answer all of your queries at the end of the session. So let's get started. Okay, so what is composable commerce? A composable commerce is a modern approach by which e-commerce team and are empowered to select and assemble various best of breed commerce solutions and compose them to satisfy their business requirement. Instead of using a one-size-fits-all e-commerce functionality to serve business need, composable commerce leverage modern technologies and approach like MAC, which stand for microservices, API, cloud, headless, or a Jamstack. According to the Gartner research, by 2023, those organizations that have adopted a composable commerce approach will outpace competition by 80% in speed of a new feature implementations. It's not just about typical online or offline experience anymore. E-commerce business are being held to a standard beyond that. It might be a standard that demands seamless and connected end-to-end customer journey. It's a multi-experience commerce. So composable commerce is something let's digital business leverage on. It's all allow capabilities to deliver those customer experience now and in the future as well. The result is highly flexible, agility, and ability to outspace your competition. So what we talk about today for the composable commerce? First, we dive into the conventional Shopify approach. Then I will share my thoughts on why we choose to build a Vue Storefront 2 connector. Later, I will talk about the advantages of the headless commerce, and then I will share details on how Shopify VSF2 connector will work with a high level of architecture. I will also briefly talk about Shopify Buy SDK and Shopify Storefront APIs. At last, Viral will show you how to get started with the VSF2 development for the Shopify website with the real-time installation and demo. He will also share some of the technical aspects to keep in mind while working with the Shopify VSF2 connector, which might be which includes what are the what will be the requirement, what are the prerequisites, configuration, and all. So stay tuned with us. We have a very technical and very interesting discussion today. Okay, so what at the moment Shopify to launch a Shopify store website, you have to choose a suitable Shopify liquid theme, because Shopify default theme has a very limited customization option, which might be not very useful for your business requirement. You have to install third-party themes which suit your business needs and customize it accordingly. You also need to make sure that the theme you choose for your storefront is compatible with your third-party application that you had installed for better user experience. And once you have done with all those, you have to publish the theme for your storefront. So What's new in that? Most of us were familiar about these methodologies, and many of you have questioned what's wrong with this approach. The main pain point with typical Shopify approach is limits of customization, speed, and platform Shopify platform constraint. If I talk about the speed is the speed of the default Shopify or the third-party theme is pretty good. But when your customization comes into the picture, along with the third-party applications, will impact the performance for sure. Third-party application will inject their JavaScript, their SDKs, CSS, snippet into your storefront HTML. And yes, if we try to manipulate, it might be break your storefront rendering. I have already done this couple of times. So be aware of about while applying this such kind of hack. Few more limitations with the Shopify platforms are URL structure, checkout customization, CMS content management, etc. So if any of a merchant wants custom URL for their storefront, it's nearly impossible with the Shopify traditional way. So what is the solution of that? Of course, headless or composable. And thanks to the Vue Storefront team to build a such powerful storefront tool to rid of such obstacles. Okay, so why did we inspire to make the Shopify connector for Vue Storefront 2 instead of the rather than the other integration? So the simple question answer is Audit Labs is providing a e-commerce solution since the 2012. Our client observed dramatic increase. I'm sorry, increase in the mobile traffic from 17% in 2013 to 55% in early 2020. We have been providing a performance optimization solution to our client for many years. While VSF core team announced for the VSF2, we found that many contributors will work on connector for PWA for other platforms and felt the need for one of the most important platform, that is the Shopify. So being the first core partner in Asia Pacific, it's our duty to give back to the Shopify community, VSF community, and making something which is missing. We believe that Shopify merchants should also gain a benefit of PWA and be limitless with the VSF2 Shopify connector. Okay, so moving forward, let's talk about the advantages of the composable commerce. An e-commerce is no longer just about setting up an online shop and making the transaction process as smooth as possible. Instead, it gears more towards the interacting with the customer at the right time, at the right place, and through the right channel. If store approach towards composable commerce, they have flexibility to design online store solutions that always offer a customer user experience. Headless architecture fits the base perfectly over here. And thanks to the number of the beneficial feature to make the web store more flexible. Here I listed some of the essentials advantages to adopt the composable commerce. The very first is the personalization. So every target audience is an individual address in terms of both the channel and the content offer. So we have to keep our customer engaged with the personalized content over there. Next one is the uniformity. All customers get the same level of the user experience, irrespective of the which device or channel they used. The next one is the ease of implementation. Companies can quickly respond whenever a new touchback point is required. So a process that took months even a while back can now be implemented successfully in just matter of days or hours. Next is the future ready. The brands investing in the headless commerce gear up for the future development in the long run. Another advantage is the scalability. Sorry. A headless electronic commerce platform are easily and indefinitely scalable. The traditional solution, on the other hand, lose speed as soon as they attain a specific size, a specific customization, and it's also become difficult to manage later on. And the last one is the experimentation. So headless commerce model allows brand to try out a new front-end design without affecting the storefront of the whole electronic commerce. So if you are thinking, or if you're merchant thinking like they require a new branding or new UI for the front end. They don't need to take care about the backend systems. They can maintain, they can keep their backend software as it is and just replace their front end. That's it, and all good to go. Let's talk about the Shopify Connect, how the ViewSoftware 2 Shopify connector works. So here is the high level architecture diagram that we followed for the Shopify VSF2 connector. We have utilized Shopify Storefront API and the checkout process. I will talk more about the checkout later on. But if I talk about the Shopify Storefront API, we use for to retrieve the catalogs data, customer data, cart data through the GraphQL and the Shopify by JavaScript SDK. You might have a question why we use both GraphQL and by Shopify by JavaScript SDK or in the connector. So this answer, the simple answer is the Shopify by SDK is a lightweight JavaScript library that provides the ability to retrieve products or collections or your store data with the pre-built factory methods easily. We don't need to take care about the GraphQL mutation queries unless and until for the any special requirement. It has a kind of pre-built methods to retrieve the product data. For example, if you want to fetch the product details by their handler or slug, just pass the URL and all data will be retrieved from the Shopify store. We have also added the GraphQL dependency, which allows you to out of the box possibilities that doesn't provide with the by JavaScript SDK. Another reason to add up the Shopify JavaScript SDK is because of its capabilities of data rendering on both end, that is the client and the server. So if we have any functionality which relies on the server side rendering, we can easily get the data with the Shopify by SDK. Here, connector will work as an data layer for the ViewStorefront 2 platforms, and more and less VSF2 architecture is same for other integration. And I guess VSF core team already discussed, already shared their ideas about how the VSF2 gonna be worked. So I'm not going to detail in this section over here. And the checkout process, connector will redirect user to the Shopify secure checkout page when they initiate the process. So we don't need to take care about the PCI compliances and the data securities and all those parameters. So that's all about the architecture and how the connector gonna work. Moving forward, it's time to get started with the Shopify VSF2 connector demo. I would like to invite Viral Rana now to enlighten on how to get started with the Shopify VSF2 connector. What are the requirements, prerequisites, and all. Over to you, Viral.
Yeah, thank you, JP, for the very informative and detailed presentation. And now let's jump to the development part. But before jump to the development area, I want to share my screen first. So let me quickly share my screen. Before jump to the present development area, we should have something that needs to be understand by the developers, like we should have node version 10 or higher installed on your system. npm or yarn should be there, and here I personally recommended the yarn. Use the yarn command instead npm. A Shopify store and fundamental knowledge of Vue.js, Nuxt.js, and GraphQL. So let's dive to the Shopify private app. Why we require Shopify private app setup, and how we can establish the connection between Shopify store and our storefront, headless storefront. So a private app is something that will retrieve the API key, and that API key will allow us to connect our Shopify store admin with your headless storefront, right? So as shown in the figure, you can find that at the left hand side of the menu, after logged into your Shopify store, you will get the manage apps link, and click on that manage apps link, and after that create a new private app button. Once you click on create new private app button, just fill up the private app name and some basic information about the private app, and provide the required permission. That will, as a result, provide you the API key, as you are seeing on the screen right now. the API key, right? So just take a note of it, and it's time to configuration. So let's jump to the configuration part, and I would like to share my VS code code snippet for the configuration part. So let's switch to the next screen. Okay, I am switching to the VSM next. First of all, I would like to share you that we have already created a Shopify connector, which is seamlessly work with Vue Storefront 2, and which is development ready and running on version 2.2.1. So you can clone the repo from github.com/viewstorefront/Shopify, which is maintained by Oriat Labs. And now I am going to clone the repo in order to customize my Shopify front end. So I am using the git clone command, git clone the repo URL, and hit the enter. That will clone the entire my repo to my directory, which is a VSF Summit clone. So let me show you the directory structure first of all. Um, okay, so here you can see that we have a packages directory and a packet.json file, right? A packet.json file is something that consists all the dependencies required to run the Shopify connector. And let's jump into the packages directory. You will find the three main core component from the VSF Next core package, which is API client directory, composable, and the theme. So let me quickly provide you the overview of all the directories. Like basically we are using the Nux theme for the configuration part, and which is responsible to connect your Vue storefront uh, Vue storefront 2 with your Shopify admin area, correct? So we then the theme will make a call to the composables. Composable is responsible to make the data universal, and after the composable will just send the request to the API client, and API client is responsible to trigger the request to the your Shopify admin area using the storefront API and JavaScript by SDK. Under the hood, JavaScript by SDK is using the GraphQL, and it will provide you the graph model as a response from the Shopify admin to your Nux theme. And again, the reverse flow will be there, like its data will be passing from the API client to the composables, make the data universal, and using the getters method, you can render the data on your theme part. So that is the basic overview how VSF2 connector works and what is the its like working flow. So in the theme directory, let's start with the configuration. So you can find out the API configuration. You should have to replace your domain with your Shopify store domain and storefront access token with Shopify storefront API key, which is generated by the creating private app. Okay, so let me quickly, I have already configured the credentials. So it's time to run the app. Okay, so let's quickly run. Yes, kindly this is not that you should have to run yarn command as well before start, because that will basically add all the dependencies to your project directory, app directory, and once you add hit the yarn command, you should have to hit the yarn dev command in order to run the demo of the your cloned app, right? So I have already installed the dependencies, so I am just simply um, triggering the yarn dev command, and which will build my development package for the VSF2 connector. And let's see what will be there. The server and clients are compiling right now, so it will take some little bit time to compile. And you can see that server is compiled and client is also compiled, and we our app is listening on this particular URL. Currently, I am using I am setting up the uh, Shopify connector repo to my local system. That's why it is accessible on this IP address with port number 3001, which can be easily manageable from the nux.config.js file. You can change the port number and the IP address as well from the server configuration. So the demo is working now, and it's time to create one custom component, and let's see how we can use the component in our page. So again, I am switching to my VSF, and I am creating one component from into the theme directory. So here, not that we have to create component or any pages in the theme directory, and you will also find out underscore theme directory, which is a parent directory actually. And if you are not overriding any of the component file or any of the page, it will provide you the demo version of the file. So in order to make the customization or modification as per your requirement, you should have to simply copy that particular file. For example, I have to modify app.header.view file, then I simply copy that particular file and simply paste it to the component directory of my main directory, like theme directory here. Okay, so you can see here I have already overridden one file. I am not going to show that particular part. Let's start with the custom component. So I am going to build a new component, and I am naming it to my custom component dot view. So component file will be a view file, right? And once I add the name, my component, I have to, this is the basic skeleton from the view. To in order to create the component, I am going to simply adding one heading for the demo purpose in my custom component, and some add some message like hello, this is custom component. Okay, now it's time to name the component, because it will export default will obviously export the component as a module. So I am going to add the component name here. Style is not required. I am not going to apply any styling here, so I am removing that part. Now it's time to register a component. So to register the component and call it to the home page, as I have previously mentioned, that I have to go to home.view file, and I am going to show the component after the match it with section on the home page. So first of all, I will import my component from my component file like this. Uh, Okay, now I am going to copy my component file, and okay, that instance name should be anything. There is no need to make it same as the file name. You can make it like a custom component. Okay, and to register the component, you have a component object in under the setup method. So I am just registering my component and calling the component to my template part. So here in the template part, I am going to add the component after the related products. Okay, and I am not going to pass any props to the component. That's why I am just adding the component as a standalone. Okay, so its compilation is done. Let's see the result now. And yes, so our component is there after the match it with, thanks to the HMR, the hot module reload, that will dynamically render the contents on each save and compile and saving. So that is from my end. And if you have any queries, you can share with us.
I would like to thank everyone for attending our talk today. If you have any queries after this discussion, you can reach us on our mentioned email addresses, or you can connect with us on the Twitter or LinkedIn. Thank you. Thank you for your time, and stay safe.
Bye, guys.
Bye.